What is going on? Can we start over? It's Saturday here at Summer NAMM in Nashville, and I have the honor of sitting down with the New Respects. The New Respects are a band out of Nashville that have had they've released some really great projects, some really great, awesome rock and roll, wonderfully and fun to digest songs that are really well written with excellent tones and no wasted space. So from start to finish, it's good music. These guys are putting out good sounds, good songs, love them. So it's an honor for us to have them in our booth today. Why don't we go down the line and say what your name is and what you do in the band? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I'm Darius.
You're doing great so far.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks so
this
much.
is going really well.
Thank you. I'm Darius, and I play the drums.
I'm Jasmine, the lead singer.
I'm Zandy, play the most important instrument. I feel like you would agree with me, guitar.
I would say guitar is the most important instrument.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. So there we go.
Yeah.
Strongly disagree.
I know. Gotta get that mid-range in. Okay, so something that would be helpful to know, because you guys are wonderful musicians, but unfortunately, being a wonderful musician and wanting to go from the garage to the stage, sometimes you gotta have a little oomph, a little gumption, and you gotta have a plan.
You gotta have a little sauce, is what we like to call it.
You gotta have a little bit of discipline at the same time. And so, what are some key things that you guys did differently than a lot of other people that took you from the garage to being able to go on tour with some really good acts?
Our main thing was rehearsal. We used to rehearse 3 days a week for like 8 to 10 hours a day.
Say that again.
Our main thing is rehearsal.
No, I mean, how many hours a day?
8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Or if not longer.
We were
like, we knew growing up, we were all born in Nashville, so like we knew you could throw a rock and hit a better guitar player than us. So we knew there had to be something separating us from just another guitar player.
Yeah.
And we didn't know exactly what we were looking for, but we just kept practicing until we found it. And it turns out that like the fact that we can play together on click or off, but we're like solid, and we can perform like without thinking about what am I playing, because I know my instrument super well. Yeah. I think from an entertainment standpoint, that kind of sets you apart from just like the garage band who like is always kind of just lets the energy stay between the band members. We try to let it overflow into the audience.
Yeah. No, it's really good. That's really good. Anything else? Kind of like what separates, what kind of took you from that stage? So what, 8 to 10 hours a day, like how do you guys last playing music 8 to 10 hours a day? Like, are you guys using 5-hour energy? Or like do you guys wake up and do power shakes?
We just get high on music, dog.
What's the deal?
I think we just love music. We love each other, and we love hanging out. So we don't rehearse like that anymore. But at that time, we had so much to learn and so much to kind of catch up on. We were pretty late to the game. We didn't start our band until we were seniors and juniors in high school.
And that's called you call that late to the game?
It's late. It's late for Nashville. People come out with guitars.
Late to the game. Cool.
So we felt like if we wanted this to be like our career, we wanted to treat it like it. So
yeah,
we were putting in those like 40-hour weeks kind of.
So tell me a little bit about maybe your background before you started as bands, because I went to last summer. I went to one of the most magical experiences I've been a part of, and it was a Thad Cockrell show in the backyard of some store, I don't know, and there was 300 people in a full circle and a band that, from what I understand, had literally been thrown together that day. And you guys sang backup for Thad Cockrell, and you played drums, and I took a bunch of friends, and we didn't know how it was going to go, but it was one of the most special concerts I've ever been to. It was intimate. The music was beautiful. The parts were amazing. And so you look at that and it's like, well, they only practiced one time. So there's got to be some kind of backing musical experience to take you into that. So what have you, like, what's your history? Were you guys in band? Were you guys in vocal lessons, or what did you guys do?
It kind of varies for all of us. I grew up playing drums. grew up playing in church a little bit, but didn't really start taking it seriously until I was like 16. So I didn't really get a kit. I didn't get a drum set till I was 16. And then I think that's when it played. I don't know, I think just being around so much music in Nashville kind of just helps you learn the lingo and learn the, you can kind of feel like the instincts of where music is going, and then you just kind of go with it. But that's my story as far
what
as
about you guys? What's your training or experience before the New Respects?
Not much. I'm gonna give you that. You know, we grew up kind of singing together, so that was kind of cool. And then I grew up singing in theater and stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah, it is tough. And then but I think it trains you how to sing with other people. And us growing up kind of just singing High School Musical songs or just whatever we were interested in, or they grew up listening to a lot of gospel, listening to those kinds of harmonies. It just kind of trains you how to hear other people's parts and to fit where you're supposed to fit. And then specifically with Thad, he's so magical and kind of lets you do your thing that it was easy to be free out there, which was fun. Yeah. And
I didn't start playing guitar till I was 15. So, I had a year of lessons, kind of. And I mean, they were real lessons. I didn't take them really seriously because I can hear music pretty well. So when he had me learn scales, I would just fake I learned it and then just pick it out. But I think we all have a background in performing, growing up, being on stage in some facet, whether it was theater or playing for church or other things. So that definitely has something to do with it. But I think once we learn that we all have a lane, whether that's on our instrument or just our personality, what we give to the band, we realized how they all four work together. And that's kind of the magic, the sweet spot of knowing okay, Darius is the role. So he brings a lot of any type of drum thing. I can play a guitar riff and he'll play a beat that totally changes the trajectory of the song. So then we're
drummers are the worst.
I had a vision.
Golly.
But it's just trusting your gut, trusting the instinct of your band members, and then letting it fall where it may. Instead of being we're going to be this kind of band, we just kind of okay, let's see what the song does.
Okay, that's good. So you've got some songs, right? And you like them. You don't get tired of playing them. And it's well, we should start playing shows, right? So, and we want to play a lot of shows. What would you say would be a next move or a next step for a band to start playing shows more consistently? Would you say getting maybe bringing on a tour manager or a band manager, or finding a great person to run front of house, or what would be the next step for somebody from y'all's experience?
I think it depends on if you've played any shows at all. I think at the very beginning, because we hadn't played very many shows literally at all, we started playing New Faces nights at Basement, and just little small shows where we could just show up and play for people because we had never done it before. So I think practicing in small shows, and then if you start building a following there and you find that you need somebody to come on your team and help you get more shows because you've reached your capacity, that's when you go find somebody to help you book shows, or somebody to help run front of house if that's important at the time. But I think it's taking it step by step, starting small and then reaching that limit and then moving to the next step. You have anything to add?
I feel my suggestion would be to keep it in the band as long as you possibly can. If there's someone, in the beginning, Zandy booked all of our shows. So she would go emailing, knocking down doors and all that. So I think just keeping it the four of us, or we're missing one person, she's not here, but keeping it the four of us for as long as we could really benefited us, because I think that further pushed us into better relationship and finding out how each of us work. And then it's just everybody has skin in the game, so we're all working as hard as we can.
Yeah, that's good. So in writing, how are you guys writing now? So versus, it was different in the beginning because you guys were trying to let's get the best songs and the best sound together 8 to 10 hours a day. So what does writing look like now? Does somebody do the main songwriting and then everybody kind of brings in parts, or is it kind of a mix, or what's that look like for you guys now?
It a little bit varies. For the most part, it's Jasmine or I will bring either an idea or a verse and a chorus or a chorus or something that will kind of be the launching pad for the rest of the song, and then the four of us will finish it. That's the majority of our songs. We've written with Thad before, and we've written with a few other people, but a lot of the songs we write in-house. So now it's different because when we were writing for a record, there was a goal versus before you're just writing all for fun. So I think there's a balance between letting your creative process be the process and not trying to stress it. But when the label is saying hey, you have, we're turning in everything on this date, there has to be some type of discipline, which is good that was set in place years ago when we were practicing 8 to 10 hours, and we didn't realize it at the time. But that discipline of going in when we didn't want to and doing the song one more time prepared us for me sitting down and having to write a song when I didn't feel inspired. But then inspiration with discipline kind of it's like a good, it always produces a good outcome. So that's kind of what we do now.
So fall's coming up. A lot of bands gear up and start getting a little bit more active in the fall. What do you guys got planned this fall?
Okay, so this fall we're going on tour with Colony House, which we are so excited about. We've been begging them for years. And they finally were like, okay. So, cool. Yeah, we're going to go and hang with them and play some awesome shows. And
fantastic.
Really excited.
That's exciting. Well, hopefully you guys got any OKC dates? Oklahoma City?
We don't know yet, but maybe we'll just make one happen because we got to see y'all.
Awesome. Okay, so one last question. What would be your piece of advice for bands wanting to be great? That really aren't great right now, but they want to be great. What would be something that you could pass on to them? A little nugget of wisdom for those people.
I would say, first of all, practice a ton.
Yeah.
Secondly, I feel find the freedom to fail and mess up. We were super, and we still are very much perfectionists, which can be good when it's balanced with letting yourself not be good at something. So don't jump in thinking you're gonna be Led Zeppelin 2 days into practicing, but knowing that you need the time to grow and mature. Yeah. And I think just keep chasing after sounds that you like. And I know you'll end up copying a lot of people. We copied Colony House for a long time. But in that, you learn new things, and then you can take the tools that you learned to craft something unique that's yours. So that's what I would say.
What about you guys?
I would say to find out what makes you great and be that. And don't try to be somebody else's great. So as much as you can look up to the greats like Bowie or Rolling Stones or whatever, you're never meant to be them. So find the thing that makes you unique and then hone that as much as you can.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I would say that we feel great when we're having fun. We feel great when we don't have to think on stage. Before we go on stage, we say, all right, y'all, this is recess. Let's go play.
Really good. That's really good.
And so when you're comfortable enough, once you've done practicing a lot and figuring out what's true to you, don't think about, it's not work, it's fun. So,
yeah. Awesome. Super helpful. All right, guys, that's the New Respects. If you want to hear more of their music, do you guys prefer Spotify or Apple Music or what?
No. All of them don't really pay us a lot.
Get on whichever music streaming platform or buying platform you like, and also go to wherever you buy tickets and buy tickets to their shows. The New Respects. You will not be disappointed. Thanks so much for coming, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Peace.